Hi Shakun
Hi.
and hello ma'am, and thank you for being on the Quint. So it's been 34 years since you visited India. When you first landed, what were the first feelings like?
I felt like I was in Twilight Zone. I saw nice airport at Delhi, which I didn't expect it to be as nice as it was. And then when I came out of the airport, people who were waiting to receive me, they were also very loving. They were very friendly, though they had why. And it is nice to have a why from friendly people than non-friendly.
Yeah, that's not surprising because I think post Wild Wild Country, I don't know if you know this, but you become like this pop culture phenomenon. What did you think of the documentary when you saw it?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I know what I said in the Wild Wild Country, which is my truth. And my truth is I was in love with Bhagwan.
And that's what matters.
For me, the film is over. Happy ending.
Right. So, in your interviews in the 1980s, you described the Rajneeshis as followers of a religion. People call it a cult, a sex cult. What would you call it today?
I call the same thing. Way of Bhagwan's life based on Bhagwan's name, Rajneesh. We were follower lovers of Bhagwan.
And that's all.
That's all.
Okay, so what intrigues me is when I was reading about you that you was all of 16 when you first met him. And I can't even imagine doing something like that when I was 16. And what did your parents have to say about this, about you joining him?
My father brought me to Bhagwan,
Okay.
and he said, what you will learn from this man in a short time, you won't learn for 5 lifetimes of universities. I agree. I fully agree for that perception, vision of Bhagwan.
But what was it that intrigued you?
I don't know. I don't remember it when I was 16. And what I felt, I didn't understand. I waited 5 years later when I saw Bhagwan again. There it was clear. I fell in love.
How would you define that?
I can't define it.
Okay. But here was someone who, so you ran the commune for him, you were extremely devoted to him, you pretty much did everything for him, and yet there was some sort of betrayal in the end, right? And even now when I look at the things that you have to say about him, there's so much respect and warmth. Why?
I love him.
But he didn't really have the nicest things to say at the end, wasn't it?
That's his problem. If we can take relationship away from what we call betrayal or negativity, life will be as beautiful as mine.
You really think so?
I think my life is very beautiful and has been. It avoids suffering, unnecessary suffering, I call it. And I don't need him to say something nice about me. I know I'm a nice person.
That's cool. That's really cool. Is that something you learned from him itself? The idea to be like this? Did that come from him?
Well, he was very much like I am, said what he feels like it, whether it's politically correct, socially correct, religiously correct. He said what he felt. It's okay.
Right. What was the lens that you want to look at this story from, considering that now you're making a documentary only on her life, right? Something that we haven't seen in Wild Wild Country?
Oh yeah, I think Wild Wild Country is about the event. It's about what happened in Oregon, and it's made from that point of view. It tries to dissect the scandal or the culture clash and the facts of that. But I think what everyone, including me, and I've followed this story for many, many years before Wild Wild Country. I met Sheila pre-Wild Wild Country. I think everyone who's understood this story, even remotely, how complex it is really fascinated by Sheila and her life. And I think the documentary doesn't give you enough access to that. And I think anybody who really wants to get closer and understand these people more, I think this is a chance for that. It really it follows Sheila on a homecoming visit after 34 years, and as we go with her, we try to understand her more. At the same time, the dichotomy of point of views around her. Young kids look at her as a pop culture phenomena. Some would look at her as epitome of feminism. Some would look at her as criminal or with murky past. And between all these voices, how she paves her way, and what is her reaction to them, and what is their gaze at someone like her, who's really difficult to put in a box. And that's why all the questions about what do you feel, because we are really, I think, especially after Wild Wild Country, we are all really trying to define her in our own ways, so it becomes convenient for us to understand who she is. But what really documentary is trying to do is tell you that, listen, there is no one way. You can only try and understand a person, especially somebody who's lived an extraordinary life, in a broader way. And now it's really up to your bandwidth if you really truly are open to understanding a person in a broad way. And if not, that's great. You can go back on Instagram and check a few more memes and laugh about it, and that's great too. But
yeah, it's a reflection of your
if you're
conscience.
truly interested in going deeper, understanding things from other perspectives. And as I said, I don't think we are trying to go back into what happened and how it happened, who did it, who's to be blamed, who's speaking the truth. I think all those things one can do. There are other ways of doing it. This is just to say, where is Sheila today? How does she react to the society? Who she's become post Wild Wild Country? Is she the same person? Has she changed? What about the whole limelight that has come back onto her? How does she look at the society, and how the society looks back at her?
Yeah, it's a reflection of what you feel. I mean, your conscience says, and what you feel also.
Yes.
But I mean, so it's so funny because some people are like, oh, but she's so cool and she's so badass. But then you're like, oh, is it really cool? Like you're asking yourself.
That's exactly what we're really interested in. Is really trying to understand that idea of where we belong. There are people who will come take a selfie and get their book signed, and then at the same time they have an opinion of her. For a lack of a better word, judgmental. And at the same time, they would want a picture with her, and they would want a book. So at some level, I think we're also trying to turn the camera back on you and be like, okay, you can definitely judge her for what it is. Let's also look back at ourselves, and it's also a reflection of us, and not just exploring who she is.
Right. True. Okay, so like you said, you've become like this pop culture phenomena, and I don't know if you follow memes and things like that, but there's like a bunch of them on the net. There are listicles of things that Maan and Sheila has said. In the US, I believe your retorts have become common phrases for people to use. A lot of stuff that you've said in your interviews. So I just wanted to ask you like 3 of them, and I wanted to tell me what you were thinking at that point, okay? So there was this thing where in an interview, someone said that the people of Oregon didn't want you. And you said, what can I say? Do you want to finish it?
Because they don't want me. Am I going to pack my bags and move away? No. That is utterly stupid to step on somebody's right to exist. And world is full of such stupid people.
Yeah, it still is.
Always.
I can be blunt and give them a finger.
No, you said, what can I say, tough titties, and that's become like...
Okay, then I said tough titties then. But that is the same thing as giving a finger.
Right, it is. And then...
it
has been so many years, I don't remember what I say.
And what's really amazing about pop culture is a person who's literally built a city... is the quickest, the first thing that comes to your mind is not that she built a city, but tough titties. And
yeah,
right,
that's true. Yeah. It gets reduced to that because
because that's a meme, and
That's a
meme
meme.
sells better than anything else. And
That's true.
Yeah, sure. I love it too, but
Yeah.
you can go beyond it.
Yeah, true. But I mean, it also makes for some sort of interesting viewing because you're someone who's so unapologetic. Also, and I know that a lot of us are really cautious in the time of social media of what we say, and you weren't. So there was this
There
other
was
thing.
no social media. It
there
was
was no
just
social
a
media,
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I'm
News.
saying that the pressures of
Right.
of today. So there was this other thing that someone asked you if there's misuse of sexuality, and you said free sex. We don't charge for it if that's what you mean.
That's right. We don't. When you have sex, do you charge for it?
I hope my parents are not watching this.
Yeah, he's only 22. Well, listen, I mean, I think there's two ways of looking at it, and I'll let her answer. But there's two ways of looking at it. When they're saying free sex, it basically means if you love another person, if you like another person, it's consensual. It's just as good as the sex that you have at home. So, like, just by calling it free sex, it's just trying to say that it's mostly always free when two people are consensual, right?
Right.
So yeah, am I right?
You are absolutely right.
No, I mean, I asked this because also from what we saw in the documentary, the visuals of the people, it almost, and sex has been a taboo forever, right? So even in a country like India, which is why it stands out as something that's
But
odd.
India is not the only place it is tabooed.
Yeah,
Sex
right.
is
Yeah,
tabooed
always, yeah,
all over the
everywhere.
world. But it is such a ridiculous question. We are product of sex. And I don't believe my parents charge for producing me.
Yeah.
Oh, the last one. You said that if one person on Rancho Rajneesh is harmed, I will have 15 of their heads, and I mean it. You've given me no choice.
That's right. That was my conviction to protect our community.
When I saw it, I got really scared, by the way.
You got scared.
Yes.
I can imagine you're a nice guy.
That's it.
It was the conviction. And one should have conviction for protecting your own community or your own people or family. One should.
Did this come from your time in prison, the 38 months?
39 months.
39 months. Did this realization come from there that you wanted to detach yourself from that?
No. I have no interest. I don't need a religion. I have enough kicks in my life without religion.
Like what?
Like get up and dance. Like go for a good meal. Have a glass of beer. Be together with friends and family. Talk to them on the phone. Be with my patient. Be with my team. What more one needs?
So, since you have become the epitome of someone who speaks her mind for people in India, who do you think in India is representative of that, doesn't give a damn what Indian women who you think have that attitude?
I'm not exposed to India in that manner where I can make an opinion. But I can say one thing. Every person like you and your colleagues, male, female, you all can speak your mind, just the way I speak my mind. You all can be yourselves, just as I am myself. You don't have to conform. Have courage.
Wise words to end the date. Sorry, just last thing to you. What do you think has been your takeaway from this? Any life lessons?
Well, here's the thing. I really think. So I've known this story growing up. My parents still listen to a lot of Osho tapes, books, and for me, it's always there's so much there. There's so much there in terms of it's got so many lessons and experiences that you can pick up from. and not necessarily just as a storyteller. I think there is, as a storyteller, listen, this is a dream. You know, it's a Greek tragedy with the greatest of heroes and heroines and an event and life's ups and downs, and it has grandeur, yet it has, characters you can really empathize with at the same time. Their actions that the world is trying to look and judge at. So as a storyteller, listen, this is dynamite. But also, I've told this to Sheila, I've told it to many friends, regardless of trying to tell this story, I think there's so many things that you can pick up as just as a human being, just life lessons. And Sheila, every now and then, I say this because of the life she's lived, she has so much wisdom to give that once in a while, just randomly she'd say something which is like a wisdom bomb. And then just from that, you can change your perspective. You can start looking at life in a broader way. We tend to get really narrow and start looking at life a certain way, the way it's been designed, and we've all looked at it. And I think sometimes people come in your life who really just help you broaden your horizon. And I think this story...
Because you're also conditioned so strongly also.
Yeah, especially. I think we've been conditioned so strongly, especially in the beginning, you need somebody to kind of motivate you, push you, trigger, press that button where you can start looking beyond it, whether it's religion, God, marriage, relationships, families. And, when you start to break down these boundaries and start to really question who you are and what really matters, what is life to you, and does it have meaning, does it not have meaning? And then you stop creating these higher self, you stop creating the idea of God and God-man or enlightenment. When you stop creating those ideas and you truly look at life for what it is, then it's actually just
Makes so much
present
sense.
moment, today and right now. And I think that's the learning. I wouldn't say I'm there yet. I'm hoping, intellectually I understand it, but I'm hoping that by reading all this stuff, by seeing these people, something in me could truly have the courage to also live a life
Like that.
that way. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Lovely. Thank you.
And I hope you have a good stay for the couple of days that you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks you. Thank you.